Hello, my favorite subscribers. Today we have another exciting and interesting revenge story. Enjoy the show. The Heiress's Hunt. Chapter 1: Whispers in the Manor. The vast halls of Beaumont Manor echoed with the laughter and chatter of aristocrats, scholars, and businessmen, all having gathered under its ornate chandeliers for one of Lady Eleanor Beaumont's legendary soirees. The opulent ballroom, adorned with gilded moldings and silk drapes, was a testament to the centuries-old legacy of the Beaumont lineage. Lady Eleanor, with her raven-black hair, emerald eyes, and red velvet gown, moved through the crowd, her grace unmistakable. Each smile, nod, and handshake was meticulously delivered, ensuring her guests felt valued. But beneath the poised exterior, Eleanor's intuition whispered that something was amiss. As the evening progressed, she couldn't help but overhear hushed conversations about recent financial upheavals and discreet exchanges. The name that consistently emerged was Lord Frederick Worthington, a silver-haired gentleman who had been close to the Beaumont family for generations. Lord Frederick, with his seemingly genuine smile and warm demeanor, was a master at gaining trust. Eleanor had always regarded him as an uncle, valuing his counsel on numerous occasions. But tonight, something felt out of place. There was a glint in his eye, a hint of smugness that Eleanor hadn't noticed before. Late into the night, as the final notes of a waltz played and guests began to retire, Eleanor retreated to her private chambers. Opening the grand oak doors of her study, she approached a large portrait of her late father. Behind this painting lay a safe, containing the Beaumont inheritance deeds and documents. As she spun the dials and heard the familiar click, a sinking feeling settled in her chest. Several papers, vital to her assets, were missing. The magnitude of the theft slowly dawned on Eleanor. Her inheritance, accumulated over centuries, was compromised. Feeling a mixture of anger and betrayal, Eleanor pondered her next move. She could raise an alarm, involve the authorities, and bring Frederick's treachery to light. But such a move would also expose the vulnerabilities of the Beaumont estate, a scandal she wished to avoid. Instead, she chose a path of patience and strategy. Feigning ignorance would be her first move, giving her the upper hand and the element of surprise. As dawn approached and the manor settled into silence, Lady Eleanor Beaumont made a silent vow. She would embark on a hunt across Europe, navigating its underbelly, enlisting the best of thieves, hackers, and con artists. She would not rest until her fortune was reclaimed and Lord Frederick Worthington received his just deserts. As the first light of morning streamed through the manor's stained-glass windows, a new chapter in the legacy of the Beaumonts was set in motion, a tale of deception, determination, and impending retribution. Chapter 2: Gathering Shadows in Paris. Paris, with its cobblestone streets and iconic architecture, was always a place of magic for Eleanor. But this trip was different. There was no leisurely stroll along the Seine or visits to patisseries. Her mission was clear: to navigate the underbelly of the city and gather allies for her cause. Upon arrival, she checked into a modest hotel under a pseudonym, ensuring her movements remained discreet. Eleanor knew she needed someone with connections, someone who could introduce her to the darker corners of Paris, where secrets were traded like currency. A name that frequently arose in her research was Madeleine Boucher, known in hushed circles as the Queen of Shadows. Rumor had it that Madeleine controlled a vast network of thieves, con artists, and informants, making her an invaluable asset for Eleanor's mission. The two women met at a clandestine café in Montmartre, dimly lit and filled with murmurs. Madeleine, with her auburn hair and piercing hazel eyes, assessed Eleanor with a keen gaze. The tension was palpable as Eleanor explained her predicament and her hunt for Lord Frederick. Impressed by Eleanor's determination and sensing an opportunity for profit, Madeleine agreed to help, but not without a price. The two struck a deal, solidifying their newfound alliance. Over the following days, Madeline introduced Eleanor to her vast network. From seasoned pickpockets to forgers who could replicate any document or artwork, Eleanor was in awe of the precision and skill of Madeline's crew. One evening, in a smoke-filled room above a jazz club, Eleanor met Pierre, a seasoned forger known for his impeccable attention to detail. He had, on several occasions, crossed paths with Lord Frederick, replicating artifacts that the Lord later sold to unsuspecting buyers at a premium. Pierre revealed that Frederick had recently procured a rare painting, planning to auction it in Venice in the coming weeks. Armed with this lead, Eleanor continued to fortify her team, recruiting individuals who had a bone to pick with Lord Frederick. Each member brought a unique skill set, from digital espionage to the art of seduction, ensuring that Eleanor had a diverse arsenal at her disposal. As her time in Paris concluded, Eleanor felt a renewed sense of purpose. With Madeline and her crew by her side, she had not only begun to unravel the extent of Frederick's deceit but had also assembled a formidable team. The heiress's hunt had truly begun. As Eleanor boarded the train to her next destination, the city lights of Paris faded into the distance, and her thoughts shifted to Venice, where the next chapter of her quest awaited. Little did Lord Frederick know that shadows from the City of Lights were gathering, ready to expose his treachery and restore Eleanor's stolen legacy. Chapter 3: Secrets of the Cyber Realm. As the train raced through the picturesque landscapes of Europe, Eleanor dove deep into her research. To unravel Frederick's web of deceit, she realized she'd need more than just the physical prowess of thieves and con artists. The digital domain would be crucial in tracking the movement of her stolen assets and Lord Frederick's secret transactions. Upon her arrival in Geneva, a city known for its banking secrecy and technological advancements, Eleanor set up a covert meeting with Lucas Miller, a renowned hacker who had gone underground after exposing a series of high-profile financial frauds. Eleanor had learned of him through Madeline's network, and he came highly recommended for his unmatched expertise in cyber infiltration. In a discreet lakeside cafe, Eleanor and Lucas sat opposite each other, their conversation masked by the ambient chatter. Eleanor laid out her predicament, emphasizing the gravity of Frederick's theft and the importance of retrieving her inheritance. Lucas, with his sharp blue eyes hidden behind sleek glasses, listened intently. He was no stranger to the manipulation tactics of the elite, and the challenge intrigued him. More importantly, he revealed a personal vendetta against Frederick. The cunning lord had played a role in blacklisting him, making Lucas's skills invaluable to Eleanor's mission. Over the next few days, Eleanor and Lucas worked tirelessly, their base of operations being a high-tech suite in Geneva. Lucas introduced Eleanor to the vast world of digital espionage, revealing hidden transactions, offshore accounts, and encrypted communications that Frederick believed were secure. Through intricate algorithms and relentless determination, Lucas traced the movement of Eleanor's stolen assets. They discovered that Frederick had been investing in shadow companies, art heists, and illicit trades, laundering the money across various global accounts. As they delved deeper, the duo stumbled upon a gold mine, a series of encrypted messages exchanged between Frederick and a mysterious contact. These communications hinted at a significant event in Venice, aligning with Pierre's intel about the auction. With every revelation, Eleanor's resolve hardened. The digital breadcrumbs not only confirmed Frederick's treachery but also unveiled the extent of his corrupt empire. It was clear that Eleanor's inheritance was just the tip of the iceberg. As their time in Geneva came to a close, Eleanor and Lucas, now firm allies, prepared to move to Venice. With a combination of digital intelligence and the skills of Madeline's crew, they were ready to confront Frederick and reclaim Eleanor's rightful legacy. The secrets of the cyber realm had granted Eleanor an unexpected advantage, leveling the playing field. As she journeyed to Venice, she couldn't help but marvel at the confluence of old-world intrigue and modern-day technology. The next phase of her hunt promised high stakes, and Eleanor Beaumont was ready for the challenge. Chapter 4: Venetian Games and Gambits. The haunting beauty of Venice greeted Eleanor as she arrived, with its winding canals, ancient bridges, and majestic palaces. But underneath its romantic facade, the city was abuzz with covert activities and clandestine gatherings. The auction Pierre had informed her about was drawing attention from the underworld elite, and Eleanor knew this would be the stage for her confrontation with Frederick. She and her team quickly set up in a grand, albeit inconspicuous, Venetian mansion hidden amongst the labyrinthine alleys of the city. From here, they orchestrated their plan of action. Madeline, using her connections, secured invitations to the auction for herself and Eleanor, ensuring they would have direct access to Frederick and his associates. Pierre, given his prior transactions with Frederick, opted for a behind-the-scenes role, focusing on validating the authenticity of the artifacts up for sale. Lucas, with his technical prowess, hacked into the auction house's mainframe. He would be their eyes and ears, ensuring no digital trickery was at play and keeping tabs on any suspicious communications. He also set up surveillance around the venue, granting the team real-time updates. On the night of the auction, Eleanor and Madeline arrived, dressed to perfection. Eleanor's emerald eyes scanned the room, finally settling on Lord Frederick, who was holding court amongst a group of influential buyers. Their eyes met briefly, Frederick showing a hint of surprise before being masked by his signature charm. The auction began, and with each bid, the tension in the room grew palpable. As the rare painting came into the spotlight, whispers filled the room. Eleanor watched Frederick closely, noticing his barely concealed anticipation. As the bids escalated, Eleanor made her move. She placed a bid so monumental that the room fell silent. Frederick, thrown off guard, looked at her, a mix of disbelief and anger evident in his gaze. But Eleanor's steely determination was unwavering. The painting was hers. However, the true game had just begun. Post-auction, as the guests mingled, Eleanor approached Frederick. Their conversation started with veiled pleasantries, but quickly grew intense. Eleanor subtly hinted at her knowledge of his deeds, causing Frederick to second-guess the extent of her awareness. Outside, Madeline's crew was hard at work. Using the distraction inside, they infiltrated Frederick's private chambers, retrieving documents and evidence linking him to various illicit activities. The climax of the night came when Lucas, tapping into the auction house's sound system, broadcasted a series of Frederick's incriminating communications. The attendees were aghast, the reputation of the once respected lord crumbling before them. Frederick, realizing the extent of his exposure and surrounded by betrayed allies, found himself cornered. Eleanor, with her head held high, delivered the final blow, presenting him with a legal warrant for his arrest, facilitated by the evidence she and her team had gathered. The Venetian knight witnessed the fall of a treacherous lord and the triumphant stand of a wronged heiress. As dawn approached, Eleanor Beaumont looked over the serene canals, her heart lightened, justice served. The games and gambits of the Venetian night were over, but Eleanor's legend was just beginning. Chapter 5: Return to Beaumont, the final confrontation. Eleanor's journey had come full circle as she returned to the grandeur of Beaumont Manor, her ancestral home. The sprawling estate, with its Gothic architecture and vast gardens, had witnessed generations of triumphs and betrayals. Now, it would be the stage for the final act of Eleanor's quest. Upon her return, the local community, previously swayed by Frederick's machinations, had now heard whispers of Eleanor's triumph in Venice. Their respect and admiration for Lady Eleanor was evident, as they realized she had been wronged by someone they had blindly trusted. Inside the manor, preparations were in full swing for a grand ball, a celebration not just of Eleanor's return but of the reclaiming of her stolen legacy. Invitations were sent far and wide, and soon the estate was flooded with guests, from loyal family friends to influential members of the nobility. But the ball had a dual purpose. Eleanor, along with her team, had hatched a plan to lure the remnants of Frederick's loyalists and flush out any further conspiracies against her. The grandeur of the event was designed to be irresistible bait. As the evening progressed, Madeline and Lucas discreetly monitored the guests. Their careful observations identified a few individuals exhibiting suspicious behavior. These were the remnants of Frederick's network, looking for an opportunity to restore their master's tainted reputation. In the main ballroom, as the orchestra played a haunting melody, Eleanor took center stage. Addressing her guests, she recounted her journey, her voice echoing with strength and conviction. She spoke of betrayal, of her relentless hunt, and of justice. As her story reached its climax, the doors of the ballroom burst open. Armed guards escorted a shackled Frederick into the room. The disgraced lord, though defeated, still held a defiant air. Eleanor, with grace, faced her adversary one last time. "I gave you trust, respect, and friendship," she said, her voice filled with a mix of sorrow and anger. "You could have been a true ally, a part of this family's legacy. But you chose greed over honor." Frederick, realizing any pleas would fall on deaf ears, remained silent, his gaze never leaving Eleanor's. The final confrontation was brief but intense. With the evidence against him irrefutable, Frederick was taken away, his fate sealed. The night concluded with a sense of closure. Eleanor had not only reclaimed her stolen inheritance, but had also purged the shadows of deceit that had plagued her family's legacy. Surrounded by friends and allies, both old and new, Eleanor looked ahead to a brighter future. The Beaumont legacy was restored, its honor untarnished. The journey had been long and perilous, but Eleanor had emerged victorious, a beacon of resilience and justice in a world of intrigue and treachery.